Hey there and welcome back to Build with the Boys. We now have issue number, remember now, 12 of the Disney Dolls House. And this one we're wallpapering more walls, but we're starting to put some structure together, which is quite exciting. So we are going to be adding walls 3 and wall 4, which we're making in this one, to the base of our room. So we need to bring our room up. The other piece we will need for this one is we will need the alcove piece we made back in part 9. So we're going to add that as well today. We're not going to be using the wood panel we made in the last issue. I don't know why it's so out of sequence, but we're not. But we will start to get some real structure now to this room. So we'll start to put back wall on it, and the main walls will be complete. The only wall left to do in this room will be the dividing wall between this and the frozen room. So we're starting to pick up some speed now. At the end of this one, we're going to talk about a model that has been surprisingly come back to life. Now, I saw this a couple of years ago, and it was never released here. I honestly don't think outside of Japan it was released anywhere. I think it was literally Japan exclusive. But I'll show you some pictures and I'll explain what it is at the end. It is quite nice. So please don't get your hopes up when you see it and think, I want that, because you might not get it. But you never know. With as successful as this one's been, it might trigger the company to release this one as well. Who knows? But we'll take a look at that at the end. Before we get to that, we'll look at the parts we get for this month. So I've shown you the alcove we're going to use. Now, we have got in this one the wall. Now, when you come to do this, you will notice the number at the top, number 4. So as long as that is facing you and it's at the top, that's the right way around. On the back of this, we have this groove. This groove here will be for the electrics from Ariel's bathroom, which is above Mickey's room, and the electrics in Mickey's room. The wire is going to run down there, and then eventually the back panel will cover this over. So that's the back, that's the front. Okay, so that's what you need to remember on that piece. We have our wallpaper that will be going onto it, but then we've got some really rather pretty things come with this one. And we'll take a look at those now. And I'm kind of in love with these two little bits here, but let's take a look and have a chat about them. Okay, so we've got our first chair for the Wonderland dining room. Now, all of the chairs in the Wonderland dining room are different, but somehow still retain the same theme. And this is really rather lovely. This is flocked. So again, similar to what Mickey's chair was like, not like the Frozen chair, which was padded. This is flocked, so it's got like a velvety texture to it. And it's really quite lovely. So you've got the heart there. I believe there's a diamond and the other playing card suits that were there as well. But it's lovely. It's a nice little chair. Not much more I can say about it, but these are lovely things. They really are. And I think they're really going to make our house look great. Now, the things that I love is we got these two little mustard pots. And they look like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They've got the little hats. They've got the little propellers on top of the hats. But they are our Tweedledee and Tweedledum mustard pots. And aren't they wonderful things? That is what I'm talking about with this house. That is why I like this model so much, because it's that little detail. Now, these are just going to sit on a shelf at the back of the room. But I just think that's a genius touch to have two little pots that look like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So even though we don't have the characters, they're still represented in the house. And it just brings that theme in of the Wonderland kitchen to life. It really does. And just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous little things, and it's just incredible. The detail in this house is going to look absolutely amazing when it's done. But that's all I can really say about that. So what we're going to do is going to move on to paper in the wall. We're going to be old hands at this soon. So as I've shown you before, we're just going to fold over about a centimetre or so of this, and this white section here is going to come off the end here, and this section here is what you're going to be attaching to this part here. Now again, just take your time. That's all you got to do. There is absolutely zero rush, because you get, unfortunately, these are a one-shot deal. So we want to make sure we get it as right as we can. Now again, this section here is forgiving, and the top's quite forgiving on this one. I mean, we have no window to contend with here. So hopefully, as we go, just make sure we're keeping that line. And there we are. There we are. Okay, that's exactly as we need it. Perfect. It really is that simple. There we go. Perfect line, top and bottom. Happy with that. Now what we're going to do is we've got to trim off this excess here, because we're covering over some of these these plugs over here. So with our craft knife, we are going to remove these sections here quite simply. We're just going to zip these out. So that's that part there. Up there. Up there. Okay. And again, I know the temptation is just to pull these, but try not to. Let your knife do the work. Because if you pull, you run the risk of tearing. You don't want to tear it. Right up to there. Okay, take this section off here. Take this section off here, and hopefully it should all go away. And there we are. That's exactly as we want it. We're happy. Good. Simple enough. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the house, and we're going to start adding these to the actual building itself. Our wall from issue 9 and our alcove piece from issue 10. We are going to attach this piece to here. And that's how we're going to want it to go. So we're going to want to start like that. We're going to start just flush there. There we go. That's how it's going to be. So it's coming off the end there. Have a test fit before you glue this. Once you're happy with where it's going to go, we're going to glue this part in place. Now I'm going to use wood glue to do this, because again, if you have to pull any of this off, I would rather fight against the bond of wood glue than fight against the bond of super glue, because if you go pull off with super glue, you're going to be pulling chunks off with it. So my advice would be attach these with wood glue. It might take longer to set, but in the long run it'll be a lot easier to fix should it come to that, because these are going to need to fit fairly precisely. So I'm going to have a test fit of this, and then I'm going to glue this in place with just a very thin bead of wood glue along the back. Okay, so here we go. Just using a very small bead, we're going to go along this up right here, touch there, touch there. You'll see what I mean. I'm not going to use loads. I'll touch there, there. That's it. Because again, you don't have to go nuts on this stuff. It doesn't need to be smearing out all over the place. This is going to hold on its own, but again, you can get a good coating of this along here without going mental on it, because you really don't need to. As long as it holds at the ends and you've got a good hold in the center, you'll be good. You can do a little more. There and there. Let's reach down here. There we go. Okay, I need to avoid that smushing out. Let's go that way out. That's it. That's all we're going to need. This will hold firm. And again, this will dry clear, so this is the other beauty of wood glue. If you do get smush, you're okay. You're gonna dry clear. I'm going to install this into our alcove here. Now, again, this is something else you can do with wood glue. Whilst we're waiting for that to set, we can test it against our piece over here to make sure it fits as we want it to. Just adjust the camera here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so when this one goes in here, I want that fit. There we go. So I can adjust this now, so when this gets fully installed, it will be where I want it to be, and that is where I want it to be. So there we go. Excellent. Okay, so that is that part complete. I've not glued this wall in yet, so that'll be coming very, very shortly. So that's that done for now. Let's move on to the next part. So it's now time to attach this wall to the main frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a little bead along here. And then again, using our toothpick method, we're going to make sure this is all along the groove where it needs to be. So there we go. Let's get it all there nice and then. Now these walls do fit snug to the base, so I'm not overly worried, but what I did the last time is I did forget. Only once is that happening. So we're going to make sure that we have a little touch of glue just on these parts here and here, and it is advising us to put them on the back, rather bizarrely, but okay, kind of get that. It's not going to squeeze through the front that way. So we're going to put a little drop there, a little drop there. Again, I don't want to just smush everywhere, so let's just get that nice and smeared on here as well. And you know what? Call me a rebel. Let's get some on the front as well. Just so we've got belt and braces there. Okay, now what we do is we're going to pop this into the frame, line all this up, and then we're going to install our little clamp to hold it. So that goes where we need it to go, and then we're going to take this part that we received back in last month's issues, and this will hold this to the wall. It will also help it stay exactly where we want it to. Let's make sure that's down nice and firm. And that's where we are. So there you see our walls are coming along quite nicely there. Good. Now we've got some smear here. Again, I'm not bothered. This dries clear, but we can tidy it up for the sake of tidying up. Let's tidy it up. But this will dry clear, so you won't see any of that. Which again, is kind of the beauty of the laptop wood glue. It dries nice and clear. Okay, so those are those two walls installed. Now we have our latest wall to install as well. So we are going to take wall number 4, which is the one we've just made. And we're going to do the exact same thing. So we are going to glue along here and here. And then we are going to glue here and here. And this one's going to sit in just here like so. I'll test fit it first and then we'll go with the glue. Okay, so apply glue to the tabs on the wall. I have put a little on the bottom as well, just to be sure. And just here and here. And now this is an incredibly snug fit. So I test fit this and it doesn't go in without a bit of persuasion. But that's a good thing, because what you don't want is it being all loose. So it's probably good that it takes a bit of a wiggle to get it in there. Make a pig zero this now. There we go. So that's in, and that one's in. And we're going to hold, push down, just to keep that in place. Now you can see on the back of this, there is a groove. I'll show you. So as long as your groove matches here to here, because that's where your wire's going to run down, you're going to be looking good. Sorry, Goofy, just knocked you over there. So there we have our first 4 walls in place in our house. I believe that is it for this stage. Yes, it is. So exciting, we are coming on now. Just tidy this in here. We are going to be installing floor in the next issue. But that's it for all the work we have to do in this one. Now this will dry. Again, let this dry. So I know you're going to be very eager to get all your pieces together, but let this dry. Let the glue do its thing. Let it set before you start, monkeying around with this too much. And again, you're now getting to a point where you're going to have to find somewhere safe to put this, because you don't want anything hitting and snapping this. You see how easy it is? I just nearly did it there. You don't want anything hitting or snapping this. So be conscious of where you put it, where you store it. Keep it out of sight of little hands for now, because the temptation to start playing with this is going to start getting quite high. Let's have a chat. So there's issue 12 done. And it's looking good, right? So we've got we're getting more structure to this room now, which is a lovely thing. In issue 13, we're going to be adding flooring. So that ornate floor panel that we got is going to be going into this one, and we have an alcove sticker to go around the front, which makes sense later on in the build. It might not make sense now. Later on it makes a lot more sense why that's there, but we'll come to that when we come to that. What I was going to tell you about is a model that I've seen spring up, and I'm aware of this because I can remember when it first came out and thinking, oh, I wonder if that'll come here or not, and it didn't. But it's now started springing up on social media and places like that, and I think the reason why is because of this. And I think the Doll's House has triggered countries where it's not available to go looking for it, and they found something else. And what they found is a model by a company called D'Agostini. D'Agostini are well known amongst kind of big scale modelling community, with very mixed opinions of them, because they have been a bit of a nightmare to quite a few people to deal with, depending on where you're based. If you're in Italy or France, D'Agostini, or Japan, D'Agostini are apparently quite a dream to deal with. In the UK, D'Agostini are a bit of a nightmare, and there's been all kinds of shenanigans with. It's a story for another day. So buyer beware when it comes to D'Agostini. They have changed their name to Fan Home, but I think it's almost like a franchise of D'Agostini. It's very strange, but that's neither here nor there. So the model that has been surfacing is called the Disney Dream Theater, and it's what it sounds like. It's a model of a theater, and I've got some pictures of it, and I'll show you the pictures, and I'll explain what these pictures are. That's the Disney Dream Theatre. It is lovely. It's very nice, and it is massive. You might not get that from those pictures, but the thing is huge. I don't think it's as big as the Doll's House, but it's not far off. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that there are 3 of them available. There isn't. There's 1. And what it is a very large music box, is essentially what it is. It's a very large working diorama. But all the pieces swap out. So you have a choice of 3. There's Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, and Beauty and the Beast. Now, you get all the pieces for over 100 issues. And you can swap them all out, so it'll play different music. So the thing works the same. So you've got the central characters rotating. It will either be Belle dancing with Beast, Cinderella dancing with Prince Charming, or Ariel on her own, quite sadly, spinning on, I think it's a rock or something. But then you have other characters to the side as well that are also dancing. And in the back, in the Cinderella one, you see the horse and carriage go along, and then it comes back round. You can switch that out on the Beauty and the Beast when it's something else. I can't remember what it is. I think it's more horses. And on the Little Mermaid one, it's like seahorses. It's like fish that go along. So you just switch the characters out, and that's what it does. So that each one has different lighting. So the Beauty and the Beast one has the very kind of candle glow to it. The Cinderella one has got more like a blue lighting, and the Little Mermaid has like a green lighting for it. And it plays the different music and it dances. It's very pretty. But it was never released here. It's never been released here. It's done its full run in Japan, and it never surfaced here. But it's been popping up a lot on social media recently. I've seen loads of videos of it, which is weird because this thing ended ages ago. But I think what it is, this Doll's House is not available in America. And I think Americans have gone looking for this, and they found that instead, because they can get that. Now, you can get that Dream Theatre if you want it, but it is going to cost a bloody fortune to import from Japan, because you've got to import 100 boxes over from Japan. So you can do it, and I know there's definitely a lady in one of the groups that we're in that is a lot further ahead than everyone else in the Doll's House, because it was her lockdown project. She did it throughout the lockdown. She imported the parts from Japan. So you could do it. I mean, your instructions are all going to be in Japanese, which I don't think would be, I don't think that'd be the end of the world. But with that Dream Theatre, it is going to be a lot more gears and cogs and electrics to make it all work, because you build the entire thing. So there's going to be little motors in there, and so it might be a little more complicated without instructions. But yeah, that's the Disney Dream Theatre. Now, it may arrive here. I mean, if the companies have seen that this is selling, if this is selling, I believe it is. I mean, it's still in supermarkets, and it's up to like issue 14, which is quite rare. But I mean, it's still available in my local supermarket. You can still get you could get issue 14 this week in my supermarket. So it might see the light of day over here. It might surface. Another company might buy it from them, or it might end up over here. I don't know. Again, it would have a lot to do with copyright with regards to use of music and things like that. But who knows? Who knows? It's whether or not you want to do it as well whilst you're building this, whether or not you want to build that one as well. I don't know, but it is a lovely thing. I wouldn't build it. I've got nowhere to put it, to be honest with you. It's not. This is lovely. I like this. I like the doll's house a lot. I mean, a big model theatre. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with it, to be honest with you. I think I'll be building it for the sake of building it, but I say that I'll probably end up building the bloody thing if it is released over here. But it's a lovely thing. You can go and find YouTube videos of it working and seeing it doing its thing, but it's yeah, it's really rather lovely. But D'Agostini is the name of the company. So if you look for D'Agostini Disney Dream Theatre, you will get to see various images of it, and I'm sure you can probably buy them on eBay. Again, just be aware, it's all going to be in Japanese instructions, and you are going to pay import on it. So just be aware if you go looking for it. I don't want to build your hopes up to dash them down, but who knows? Who knows? That might end up here. Anyway, that's all for this issue. Again, if you haven't yet, please give us a like, give us a subscribe. It helps us a lot, and we love having you here. And it's an easy way to have access to all the videos that we've got coming up. Very shortly, issue 13 will be up. We'll be adding the floor to this. So it's getting exciting now. It's really starting to come along, and I think the floor is really going to make this start to come to life. And we'll have a chat in issue 13 about Halloween. A lot of you said you'd like to do some Halloween decorations for your doll's house, and I've actually found something unbelievably perfect for Halloween, if that's what you want, that will fit this beautifully. But we'll talk about that in the next one. So that's it for now. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice, and I'll see you next time.